Hello everyone, and this is a tutorial in using Google Calendar. Now I'm logged in into my Google Calendar. I'm logged in using a G Suite account. It's a G Suite Google account. So this is the interface of the calendar, and this is the present date and day, and this red line tells me the time. Now on top here, it's shown on weekly view, and my calendar shows from Sunday to Saturday. This is the default view. On top here, it shows the month and the year, and I can browse it. I can go back and forth, and if I need to reset it back to today's day, I just click on this today button. Now this gear icon is where you can go to settings and change your settings for the calendar on the left side. So if I click here, I can just hide this on the side. This time here, I am in New York, so this is Eastern Standard Time here, but I can also add another time zone here. And on my calendars, these are the list of calendars. I am logged in as Tom Smith. The rest of the calendars here are there by default. Now this create button is where you can click and create an event. Also, you can click here once or twice and you can create an event. So anywhere in this space. And I'll show you how to do that. On the right side, you have all these other things. You got keep, you got tasks, and you can get add-ons here. Now this is the week view. So I'm going to click on the drop down menu and I can click on day, and it shows me the day view, the month, the year. Also I can get a schedule view, and also there's a 3 weeks view, and you can change this in settings. You can make it 2 weeks, 1 day, 7 days. I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to set it back to week. Now this is the settings gear icon. If I click on that, go to settings. Now on the left side, there's a whole menu here. And if I click on the general language and region, so here you can change the language, the country, you can change the date format, the time format. And on time zone, this is where I can add another time zone like Los Angeles time zone. So I'm in Eastern Standard Time. So I want to display a secondary time zone. I'll just click the checkbox. I'm going to leave it as Pacific Time Los Angeles. Now I just need to label it so I can tell the difference. And this is Pacific Standard Time. So you can click the drop down menu and add another time zone besides Los Angeles time zone. Now this is the event settings, and it's by default. It's 60 minutes, but you can change this to 15, 20 or whatever minutes you want. This is when I click an event, it automatically sets it at an hour. Now under view options, I'll click on view options. This is where if you want to show weekends. So if you don't want the Saturday and Sunday, you can uncheck this. This is other things like show decline events. Now this one is reduce the brightness of past events. So this is where past events are shown as a dimmer color, and this is an upcoming event which is of brighter color. I'll go back to settings, and that's on view options. So you can leave that check. View calendar side by side, I'll leave that check. And you can change this. start week on Sunday. So you can choose whatever you want. So this is where you set the custom view. So I had it at 3 weeks. So you can choose any one of these. So I'm going to click on 7 days. And if I go back here and click here on the week drop down menu, see, I get the 7 days option. And if I click show weekends, I'll uncheck this. It removes the Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to check here show weekends. So as you can see, the Pacific Standard Time is listed and the Eastern Standard Time is listed. Now to create an event, I can click create. And if I don't want to create an event, I want to cancel here, I can just X out of it. Also, anywhere here, I can click to create an event. So if I click here and I can just look at the time and the day. So it's 11 to 12. I want to click on this spot, or anywhere you can click. So if I click once, I get this menu box. I can X out of it. If I click twice, I can get the bigger interface here. And I'm going to add a title. I'm going to say meeting, staff meeting. So the event was set at default at 60 minutes. So it's from 11 to 12. I can change that. I'm going to say 11:45. I want to add Google Meet video conferencing. So it's going to be virtual by using Google Meet. Now this is the notifications area, and it's set at 10 minutes by default. So I can change this, but I'll leave it at 10 minutes. Now you can add another notification. So I want to make this 30 minutes. Add another notification. And I want to make this 60 minutes. There's a drop down menu here, and it gives you the option. If I click on it, I want to select email. So I want all the guests that I'm inviting in this Google Meet to receive notifications by email 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and 60 minutes before the meeting. This is the calendar. I can change the color here. And I can type a note here. Now this is where you add the guests. So on the guests, I'm going to add John Sam, and he's using Gmail. I'm going to click on Frank. Now it says here that Tom Smith is the organizer. That's the person that's creating the meeting. Frank Smith, he's a guest, and John Sam is another guest. And Frank Smith is using a G Suite account. Now under guest permissions, there's modify event, invite others, and see guest list. So if I click on modify event, I give the guest permission to invite others and see guest list. So I don't want that. I only want them to see the guest list. So I'll leave it there. Now there's an asterisk on John Sam's email here. And this is saying calendar cannot be shown. So Frank Smith calendar is shown. I do have access to Frank Smith's calendar. Now this rooms here, Since I'm using a G Suite account, your administrator has to configure that so it shows up here. So if I click on rooms, I have configured it already. I can select like AV room. I click on save. Now you get this pop-up and it says, would you like to send invitation emails to Google Calendar guest? You want to make sure and say send. And it's picking up that John Sam, he has a Gmail account and it's an external guest. So I'm going to click invite external guests. Now you can invite anyone, someone with a Yahoo account or Outlook account. So here it is. Now this is the Gmail account that I send the invitation to, John Sam, and this is the invitation. The reason that the invitation is on a white box is because he has to respond if he will be attending the meeting. So if I right click the staff meeting, it says go in and I get the options. He can click yes, no, maybe, remove, also change the color. If I go to his email, this is the invitation email, and on the right side he can respond from his email. It says RSVP with a drop down menu. I click on the drop down menu. I have these three options. So John can respond with yes, maybe, or no. Also, if he opens the email, this is how the invitation looks. It says staff meeting, and he also gets the option to respond here. And this is the Google Meet link and the phone number that he can join with. Now, if John clicks on the staff meeting here, he also gets this option. So he can see the guest list. And also underneath, it asks the question, go in, yes, no, maybe. And there's a little drop down menu here. If I click on it, he can propose a new time or add a note and send it back. Now if I right click here, I can say yes, it turns to a solid color. If I say no, it's crossed out. If I select maybe, it turns to this color. So I'm going to say no. Now the other person I send the email to is Frank, and he is using the G Suite account. He has the same options too. He has the RSVP. So this is the meeting invitation, and if he right clicks, he gets all the options also. So I'm going to select yes. It turns to a solid color. This is the main calendar, and this is where I send the invitation to Frank and John. Now if I double click on this, so on the right side I can see their response. Frank Smith, there's a green check mark, and this means yes. And John Sam, he has an X on his email, and that means he says no. Now I can add a note to the guest and send it, and I can also respond to the guest. So I can email all the guests. If I click on this mail icon, it says email guests, and I can see how many yes, how many no, how many maybe. So I see one no. Now I don't need to send an email to the person who says no. So I just type whatever message I want, and I can send it to whoever is come into the meeting. Now I'm going to create another event. So I'm going to click create here. So I'm going to add a title. So I can add a location. I'm just going to type office. And it gives you a whole drop down address here. Now appointment slots, this is only available if you're using a Google G Suite account. Now if I click more options, I get this bigger interface with more features. Now this is just going to be a personal meeting, so I don't need to invite any guests. And under notifications, I can leave it at 10 minutes. I'm going to add another reminder, and this is going to remind me in 30 minutes. So this is for my personal meeting. I'm not inviting any guests. So this notification will pop up on my computer screen and remind me 10 minutes and 30 minutes before the phone call meeting. So I can click save here. So the color by default turns to this dark blue, and this is the default color here because I'm logged in as Tom Smith. Now I can change this color. If I just right click, I can delete this event and I can change the color. Now if I need to change the time, I just need to click on it once and this pops up. So here's the pen icon. You can edit. I can delete it. I can email guests. And these three dots gives you more option to print, duplicate, publish event, change owner. So I'm going to click on the pencil icon. And I get the bigger interface, and I can change the time here. Click save, and it's here. Now these can be moved around. For example, I want to change it from 9 a.m. to 11. I can just drag it like this. This can also be moved. So I can move it here. If I want to move it to a Saturday, I can move it back here. So these can be dragged to increase the time. So I'm going to create an event from Monday through Friday. So all I need to do is place the mouse here and just drag it. When I release the mouse, I get this. So I'm just going to add a title. It's going to be a breakfast event, and it's from Monday through Friday. I'm going to add the time, 7:30 to 8:30. That's good. I'm going to add guests. Now I'm going to use a group email. So I'm going to email my staff. Now you have guest permission here. Click on it. I just want them to see the guest list. I can add a location. It's going to be in the conference room. Now this is the notification. I'm going to add another notification. It's going to be 30 minutes before. Add another notification. Make it 1 hour before. So I'm going to click on the drop down menu. I'm going to click on custom, and under notification I want to say email. Click done. I'm going to click on custom because I want to email the guests. Click done. Now I have more options, and if I click on more options, I can get the bigger interface here. I can add a description, and these are the lists of the staff in the group email. I'm going to click save, click send, and if I need to make changes to this event, I just need to click on it once. Also I can double click also, and I get this, and I can look it over. Also I can edit it here. I can delete the event. I can email the guests, and clicking on these 3 dots I have all these options, and if I double click on it I can get this also, and I can right click and delete. So I'm going to show you how to create a repeat event. So I'm going to double click here. I'm going to bring up the bigger interface here. I'm going to add a title, Jim, and this will be a personal event for myself. Location, so under notifications I'm going to leave it as 10. I'm also going to add more notifications. I'm also going to add a 1 hour reminder, and I'm just going to leave it on notifications, and there are no guests, so it's from 6 to 7. So on top here on this drop down menu, does not repeat, click on that and scroll down to custom. So I want my workout in my gym to be twice a week, so it's going to be weekly, and it's going to be repeated every week. I can choose whatever one I want here, but it's a weekly event for me. So in repeat on, it's going to be twice per week. It's going to be Tuesday and Thursday. On ends, if it's never, it will be continuing right through. That means that it never ends. If I click on, I can select a date when it ends. If I click on after, I can choose how many occurrences before it ends. So I'm going to make it 10 occurrences and click done. Click on save. So it's here. If I click on next week and the other week, so that's how you create a repeated event. Now to create another calendar here, you can create a secondary calendar, and other calendars here you want to click on the plus sign and select create new calendar. I'm going to type tech calendar. Click on create calendar. I'm going to add another calendar here. Create new calendar. Type volunteer. Create calendar. And the calendars are listed here. Now I can change the color of these calendars. Click on these 3 dots and I can choose a color. Now, if I want to share my calendar, for example, Tom Smith, click on these three dots and click on Settings and Sharing. And on the left side it says Share with Specific People. Click on that. Now Frank Smith has access, but I can add someone else. For example, John Sam. Now this is the permissions. If I want him to have more access to make changes to events, I can select any one of these. Make changes and manage sharing, or make changes to events. So I'll select make changes to events, click send. So he has access to my calendar to make changes to events. I can change this here just to see all events. Now every change I make here is saved automatically. Now on other notifications, I can choose to be emailed when an event is added to the calendar, when change events, when canceled events. So you can select any one of them. So you can say none. You can receive a daily email with the agenda for this calendar. You can click on email. So you can check whatever options you would like. Now these are the public URL to the calendar. So if I copy this, I can email it to someone and they will have access to my calendar. So if I right click, I can say copy and I can email it to whoever I want. I can also open it in a browser, and this is how it shows. So this one is embed code, and I can embed this calendar into our website. So all I have to do is copy this and embed it into our website, and it will show on our website. This is also the public address in iCal format. If I want this to be public, I can copy this and send it to someone, but I have to make it the calendar public also. And here it is, access permission, make available to public, and then I can copy this and send it to whoever I want to send it to. So this one, secret address in iCal format, you can copy this address and send it to someone you trust, and it gives you a warning also, only share this address with those you trust to see all event details for this calendar. Now if you send this link to someone and you don't want them to have access again, click on this reset button and it will reset the link, so that person will not have access to your calendar anymore. Now this is remove calendar, so if I want to remove a calendar, I can delete it here. So if I go to tech calendar, I can also click on settings and sharing, and I also have the same options, make available to public. I can change all these options. So if I want to remove this calendar, I just need to click on subscribe and I can permanently delete it here. Now I can hide these calendars. If I want to show all these calendars, I can check here and it would all show up here. Now I can hide these. If I click hide from list, I can do that. It's not here. I can click on the three dots and says hide from list. And if I want to just display it again, I just need to go to the gear icon, click on settings, and these are the calendars here listed. I just need to click on this show calendar, and it's here. So if you have a lot of events here, you can click on the search icon here and you can search. You can also click the drop down menu and there's more detail here. Now if I want to create an event for tech calendar, all I have to do, I just need to click here. I'm going to create an event. It's going to be from 1 to 3. I can add a location, notifications. I can add notifications, add a notifications again, make this 30 minutes, make this 60 minutes, and notify by email. I can also select just by notification the 10-minute, where it will just pop up on my screen, and whoever I invite will get a 30-minute notification by email and a 60-minute notification by email. Now here, click on this drop down and you have these two other calendars. So I want this to be on tech calendar, so I'm going to click on tech calendar. And if I click here, I can change the color of the event. I can add the guests here, and I'm going to type in the group email. I'm going to give the guest permission to only see guest list. I'm just going to click on save, click send. Now it's here. So if I uncheck Tom Smith, this is the tech calendar and this is the meeting. Now I can subscribe to someone's calendar. So all I have to do is on other calendars, click the plus sign, click on subscribe to calendar, and type the person's email. So example, John Sam. So I get this pop-up. You do not have access to John Sam's Gmail calendar. I'm just going to type a message. Click on request access. And John Sam will get an email and he will have to give you access to his calendar. So now that John has given me access to his calendar, all I need to do to add it to my calendar is to click on other calendars, subscribe to calendar, and I'm going to click on John Sam. And once I see all of these, it means I have access to John's calendar. And if I go back on the other calendars, it's here. I also have access to Frank's calendar, and if I click the plus sign, subscribe to calendar, I can add his calendar here. I'm going to get this, and this shows me that I have access to his calendar, and as I go back, it's here. Now once someone gives you access to their calendar, all you have to do is click the plus and click on subscribe to calendar and just add their email address here. Now if I don't want Frank Smith or John Sam's calendar here, I can remove it or unsubscribe. So I can go to the three dots, I can click on that, click on settings, scroll down, and I can click unsubscribe, and that calendar will be removed from my list. I can also click the X and unsubscribe also. Now I have 3 calendars here that are shown here, and to tell the difference which one is which, they have colors. So Tom has like a blue, this is more like an orange color tech calendar, this is green, and as you can see the edges, it shows the color blue, that means it belongs to Tom Smith. The green, it belongs to volunteer, and the tech calendar, you can see this orange strip at the end. That's how you tell the difference between calendars. So I have this event here, conference meeting, and if I double click on it, I can see that Frank and John said yes to the meeting. Now if I click on find a time, I can see Frank and John side by side. This is because I have access to their calendars, so it shows up here. And this is the time of the meeting here, which is grayed out. And as I scroll with the mouse, as you can see on top, it shows you that they have a breakfast appointment at a certain time. And if I scroll up, it's there. Now I can also click on suggested times. And if I click on suggested times, Google Calendar gives me a list of time slots that everyone will be available. It says all participants can attend, and it gives me the time slots. So Google Calendar does that automatically. So I'm going to create an appointment slot here so people can book an appointment on my Google Calendar. Now I have a G Suite account, and this is only available in Google G Suite account. So I'm going to create it. I'm going to click here. I'm going to type appointment slot. So I want to click appointment slots here. I want it to be 30 minutes, and it's from 9 to 10. I'm going to click save, and I'm just going to drag this to increase the time. Okay, it's from 9 to 1. So there's a small grid icon here, and that means it's an appointment slot event. So I'm going to double click this because I want to add more information. Also, I can just click on it once. I can click on the pencil icon, add a location. I'm going to click save. Now, if I click on it once, I get this box, and this is what I want. Go to appointment page for the calendar. So what I have to do, I have to right click this and copy this link address and email it to whoever I want to book an appointment. Now, in order to book an appointment in a Google Calendar appointment slot, they must use a Gmail account or G Suite account. So I emailed the link to John Sam. So this is the link that John received, and he's using a Gmail account. So all he has to do is to click on the link, and once he clicks on the link, it's going to open up the time slot calendar here, and these are the appointment slots. So he has to choose an appointment slot. Each one is 30 minutes. So for example, I'm just going to click on this one. I'm going to type a description. I'm going to click save. And it says your appointment has been saved. So once I go back to Tom's calendar, it's here. So this is how an appointment slot is created in Google Calendar, where people can book appointments. So I thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful, and I ask you to subscribe.